What a weekend it was. Keeks, Kyle, Dan, and Keeks, you could not have scripted a better start to the season for the Toronto Blue Jays. 3-0 out of the gate, 2 walk-off wins.
And 50 strikeouts, damn. I
Yeah.
mean, bless the A's, number one. If you could pick your opponent to start the year, the A's, I think they'll be a lot better this year, but they weren't there yet. And then you've got the Rockies next. So this was, guys, not just exciting because of the wins, but how they happened. Because they happened in a very 2025 Blue Jays way. And that immediately gets rid of any narrative of, was that a one season wonder? Do they need to find new ways, new identities? No, this is more of an organizational identity now. And that's the exciting part when you really can see and accept that it's in the water. Like this is going to be something that carries over into 2026, doing it the same way with unexpected stars and pitching that looks a hell of a lot better. So this could not have gone better, not possibly. Then you have Kaz Okamoto with his big debut. Like everything went right. Something will go wrong eventually tonight, maybe, but everything went right opening weekend.
Keegs, in the offseason, there was so much of a priority placed on reimagining this pitching staff and specifically finding pitchers that could miss bats with baseball. And over the weekend, the Toronto Blue Jays broke a number of records related to strikeouts.
Yeah, this was the most strikeouts by a team in the first 3 games of a season ever, like in Major League Baseball history. The Blue Jays beat their own records. Kevin Gausman set his own high for starting a season. I believe Dylan Cease the most in a Blue Jays debut. It's ridiculous. And this is so affirming immediately for the Blue Jays because it shows that this new theory, this new idea can work. And when you look at the 2025 Jays guys compared to this year's team, you're looking for ways to find new upside. You know, it's not always going to be like 92 to 93 where you just go buck wild and overhaul the roster. Like that's, I don't know if anyone will ever do that again. But when you have a very good roster and most of them are coming back, you need to find these little shifts in either philosophy or talent. And the Jays clearly decided that shift was going to be moving from starters like Chris Bassett, Jose Barrios style, where you eat innings, towards starters like Gosman, already in house, but Dylan Cease, Cody Ponce fits this as well, Trey Savage, who are going to strike out more than a batter an inning. In a few of those cases, a lot more than a batter an inning. That does come with some risks. You're going to have some days where they only go 4 1/3 instead of 7 innings, but you need upside. You know, you're not trying to come top 3. You're trying to win the World Series. And that upside is what you need to chase. I liked it all along. Now that I've seen it, I love it. Like this is as good as it could possibly look out of the gates.
And you get the 2 newest Jays, Jesus and Kaz. They both go deep to get their first home runs as Blue Jays. Kaz's first home run in the majors. To get that out of your system early, what a relief.
Yeah, that matters. And I'll start with Jesus Sanchez because I feel like he has not been talked about at all. And
Oh,
when I
you
say
talked
that,
to him. You told us to get
a little
ready.
bit, but I'm kind of pointing the gun at myself there too, because you know I can't sit here being like the media is not talking about it. You know, it's probably my fault a bit, but there's always been so much focus on Okamoto, on Vladdy coming back, and Jesus Sanchez, guys, his upside is incredible. And I've made the Teoscar Hernandez comparison a few times because of the specific style of play. Like it's not just the lazy, like this is a Latin slugger coming to the Blue Jays. I really think their style of play in the upside, but also on the other side of it. You know, you look at why teams have moved off of Jesus Sanchez. There are times where there are lapses on the bases or stuff defensively that is not beautiful. Okay. If he was a rock solid defender and base runner on top of his power, I mean, look out. That's an all star. But if the Blue Jays can plug a few holes in his game and really get to the offensive upside, like they did with Hernandez at a couple of points, and that took some optioning to the minors, it took a curvy road. The upside is tremendous. And I love that the Blue Jays gave him the green light 3-0 to just let it rip. And he hit a home run to dead center. Like it split the first 0 in 400. Dead center. I love that. And then Kazuma Okamoto, I mean, holy guys, that's as good as it can get for a debut. You have your first hit, first run scoring on a walk-off, He gets the double Gatorade shower from Vladdy. He's probably wondering, like, what the hell are these guys doing over here, right? So, first home run, which was smooth, easy, 420 feet to right center. Come on. Like, this is who Okamoto can be. And it will not be like this all the time. There will be cold streaks and stretches where he's stuck adapting to new pitchers. But we see what the Blue Jays were excited about, and we see it immediately.
And Kaz had the when they were showing the players and introducing them, he had the best close up. He was stirring the pot.
That's the new celebration, apparently. And I need to get to the bottom of it. But we asked Andres Jimenez the other day, and he was just like, I don't know. They started doing it, so I did it. And, so it's usually not as deep as you think. But these guys love Okamoto. Like, you saw it when Vladdy met him up on the dugout steps where they slap hands and do a bow. Jesus Sanchez had the jacket for him. Like, his teammates love him, man. He's a really likable guy. And I think they understand how big and famous he is, which makes you appreciate how humble and normal of a guy he is, too. Like, he really fits in.
It also seemed like he was pretty solid defensively at the corner there as well. He made some good plays. Not that the Jays defense had to make many plays since there were so many strikeouts, but it did seem like this team has now formed kind of a dream infield if he continues to play so rock steady at the corner.
Oh, yeah, he just needs to be good enough. Like, it reminds me of how we talked about Bo Bichette when he was with the Blue Jays at shortstop. As long as we don't have to talk about your defense, cool, good enough. Just don't make it a story, and that's fine. And when you have that next to Andres Jimenez, who is like, I think everyone knows he's one of the best defenders in Major League Baseball, but we saw a couple of plays over the weekend that were just showstoppers. This guy is a rare, special defender, and I don't think we've seen many like him in Toronto ever. Okay, like 3 or 4 years from now, we can have the discussion of where he ranks among the all-time greats, Blue Jays defenders. But he's truly special. He's so talented as a defender, and I think he's going to do a bit more offensively. He's not going to be Barry Bonds, whatever, but I think he'll do a bit more. And in a real sneaky way, he could be up there in the top 2 or 3 wins above replacement on this team by the end of the year, just on defensive value.
Um, Speaking of sneaky, Spencer Miles, can we discuss him? And then we also saw our first look at Tyler Rogers, the Submariner.
Yeah,
Submariner?
I've only heard it said Submariner, but I prefer Submariner now. That's way cooler. But Spencer Miles is a ridiculous story. I mean, he was drafted in the Rule 5 draft in December. And when the Blue Jays drafted him, I was sitting in that room and I Googled him and wondered, is this the Spencer Miles they just picked? Because this guy has not pitched above single A ball, and he's coming off a couple of surgeries. He has 14 and some innings in the minor leagues. Like, it's a strange pick, but he's 25. There was some maturity there. The Blue Jays had seen little flashes of things they'd liked, and they've nailed it. Like, whoever was in their room and had this big, bright idea has nailed it. The fact that Spencer Miles is even getting a shot in the big leagues like this, that's a success. Anything from here is just bonus on top of bonus. But being thrown in that scenario, I mean, not ideal, but it worked out. And he looks like he belongs as a pitcher. Like, a lot of guys can throw 97 and have a good breaking ball and all that stuff. But it seems like he handles it well, kind of around the field and off the field as well. Like, this could overwhelm a lot of people. It would overwhelm 99% of people, but he seems to be able to handle it, which is pretty rare. And if the Blue Jays can hold on to him as a Rule 5 pick through the year, like, that is the definition of found money. That's fantastic. And then Tyler Rogers, you are going to see 83 times this year, and every appearance is going to look the exact same as the last one. And that is perfect. Like, he is going to be John Schneider's favorite person. I'm not sure if I'll talk to him twice this year. Like, he is just going to come in, and that's the whole aura around him. Like, he told John Schneider, I want to be boring. I want to lead the Blue Jays in holds all time. No one talks about holds. There's nothing sexy about a hold. But John Schneider joked, like, he's already gotten paid. He doesn't need saves for arbitration or whatever. So he is going to be one of the most important players on the Toronto Blue Jays, and we're never going to talk about him. And that's exactly how he wants it.
Last fantasy baseball pool I was ever in 10 years ago, we had holds, and I was the holds king.
There we go. Exploiting the least sexy stat.
Yeah.
And Keegan, how did you feel about Tyler Heineman's season debut?
Heine is coming off such a good year last year, and this is an exciting opportunity for him because he's coming in with some security. Like even last year, before he got hot and before he put up such a strong start, you're living a life as Tyler Heineman that's always been with like one eye out the door, right? The amount of times that he has been optioned and moved around, that's the life of a kind of quad A catcher, and it's a weird life. So I'm hoping for him that he can, with getting established this year, he can really sink into the job, and that's an important job because you do have Brandon Valenzuela coming up from AAA Buffalo. But when I look at last year, guys, 289 average, 777 OPS. I don't know if we need to ask him to do that all over again, but a strong start. And as long as you're a backup catcher like Heineman, who is well liked in the clubhouse, handles himself well defensively, as long as you do anything with the bat, you're good. Okay. Like it's the old saying that John Schneider leans on a lot, that backup catchers are either really good defenders or really good hitters, which means they're not both. Heineman did both last year. And as long as he does just one this year, he's probably holding on to that roster spot for a good while.
Okay, time for the elephants in the room. Hoffman and Little. Hoffman makes an appearance for the first time. Game 1 of the season, serves up a dinger. Jays still win. Next day, Little comes in, serves up a grand slam. Somehow, the Jays come back and win that game. Hoffman makes an appearance in the final game of the series, picks up the save. He had a 3-run lead. But this is something I'm sure the team doesn't want to go through for the rest of the year. I know the fan base doesn't want to sit through them figuring this out. What have you heard? What's going to be done?
Same old thing, huh? It's right back where last year ended.
Mm-hmm.
The Brendan Little thing worries me more than Hoffman, frankly. Hoffman, I was critical of through last year, and I know that I was told a million times, "Oh, the home runs are bad luck, the variance of the blah blah." Again, I live in reality. I cover real games. I cover the real score. I don't cover who had the most expected runs in the World Series. I cover who won and lost it. Okay. While I acknowledge expected stats and those analytics are valuable and important, at the end of the day, I cover who wins the game and who gives up the home run. So those were a problem for Jeff Hoffman last year. Absolutely. And the frustrating or maybe confusing part was that Hoffman's highs were brilliant. Like, I mean, dominant, a closer who was winning games by himself, absolutely dominant. So it was about finding what's the truth. Where is the truth in the middle? And which end is it closer to for Hoffman? Same thing this time. He strikes out 4, then gives up the home run. It's like, well, which guy is he? And because I don't think that those extremes can exist forever. I'm still betting on Hoffman to have a much stronger season. And his stuff, I feel like this is my John Schneider impression now. Like his stuff looks really good, but the home runs have got to stop. And everyone
Mhm.
knows that. With Brendan Little, the reason that I have more worry there is because you also have a control issue on top of it. So if Jeff Hoffman was losing the zone, I'd be ringing the alarm right now. But Brendan Little, in his appearance, when you look at the chart of his pitches, I think it was 20-ish pitches, weren't many in the zone at all. And if you're going to live that way, you need to be elite. Like Dylan Cease can do that. Dylan Cease can go a whole inning without a pitch in the zone and still strike out the side because his stuff is ridiculous. It's all over the place. But Brendan Little needs to throw strikes. And it's exciting that he's throwing a four-seam fastball now that can touch 97, 98. It's exciting, but it needs to be in the strike zone. What he needs is to be living up high in the zone with that 97-mile-an-hour fastball and then dropping a curveball on people. That's not what's happening right now. Again, the curveball that got hit for the grand slam, yeah, it was low out of the zone, whatever, but I think the hitter was sitting on it, Shea Langeliers, who had a hell of a series.
Mhm.
So Brandon Little needs to be in the zone, man. It's that simple. It's been that simple for a few years. And if this starts to snowball early, you probably have that conversation pretty early. I think they'll give him a lot of run, but you just gotta be in the zone because his stuff is so good. Hoffman has good stuff and he's in the zone. Little is not in the zone. That worries me.
One of the most interesting offseason acquisitions by the Toronto Blue Jays, Cody Ponce, takes the hill tonight against Colorado for his first start. What is a realistic ceiling for this guy?
Man, there's upside here. There really is. And when you see a 3-year, $30 million deal, my mind, guys, typically goes to, okay, this guy's probably 33 and he's going to try to eat some innings. You know, like a light version of Chris Bassett. It's kind of a half Chris Bassett deal, essentially. But Cody Ponce has so much upside, and he has strikeout upside as well. And it's all about the kick change for him. The kick change is the new trendy, sexy pitch in baseball. It'll look like a splitter. So it's going to look like what Kevin Gausman does to hitters. And he is someone who can strike out 9 or 10 hitters per 9 innings this year. And that's really exciting. He's also massive. I mean, guys, like I'm not small, but when I shook Cody Ponce's hand and John Schneider said the same thing, I was like, what is going on here? Like, it's Aaron Judge is the only other guy who I've shaken their hand and I'm like, am I a miniature doll or something? It's impressive. This guy has some physical gifts that not a lot of people have. And I think that can help him hold up over the course of a year, throw 170 innings plus. But the upside is extremely exciting. How this is going to work going through lineups, going through teams multiple times, we'll see. But Cody Ponce very quietly fits the Dylan Cease vision. Honestly, like he fits the vision of trying to strike more guys out, trying to chase upside. And he was really damn good in spring training. Like he had a .6 something ERA. He was striking everyone out. His numbers were up. He looked really good. Like every arrow is pointing in the right direction. And facing the Rockies is, I mean, you know, we'll cut this if he gives up 8 runs, but it's not like facing the Yankees, right? Like this is a good way to get back into the big leagues.
Speaking of looking good, the new ABS system, first time we got to see it, sitting at home watching it, it's unanimous. Everyone loves it. You were in the stadium. It seemed like the fans were into it. Major League Baseball, I think, has a hit.
It's pretty cool, man. Like as long as they keep it really tight and really quick, it's going to be a hit. And there were a couple spots, especially to end innings. Dylan Cease had one of them, and he threw a strike. He was pretty confident was a strike, obviously, and he took a couple steps off the mound when it got challenged. Everyone's watching. It gets called a strike, and he's got his hands up in the air, walking up.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like a wrestling pop, you know. Like everyone all at once has to look up at the scoreboard, and because at all times of a Major League Baseball game, are all 42,000 people focused in on the pitch? No, stadiums are designed to have you not focus on the pitch at this time. But everyone looks up to the board and you get that replay. And I love how it looks. It's kind of like the tennis Hawkeye
Yep.
style. And there's this pop, man. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And it's going to lead to some weird ejections too. I love that clip yesterday of like you can't argue with the robots. It's a weird new world, guys, but it's working. Like I think it's actually almost adding something to the experience, which I didn't think I'd be saying.
Yeah, it has been pretty tight, as you said, too. It doesn't really delay things much and it's exciting. But has there been any feedback from the umpires themselves as to how they're enjoying the decisiveness of the robotic calls?
I feel like that's going to take some time, right? There's been a
Yeah.
couple clips come out of umpires with they got to be a little quicker on the trigger for their microphone. They got to make sure there's not a hot mic
Yeah.
going on there because you're going to get caught. But I think over time, umpires will adjust to it too because you'll start to learn like just the different umpires stand different ways. Some are taller, some are shorter. They all have a bit of a different angle on the zone. And I think it's going to teach some umpires where their blind spots were because this was a conversation point, guys, in the clubhouse every day that I would overhear. Guys talking about, oh, Mike Johnson's the home plate umpire tonight. Okay. He gives a couple extra inches high up in the zone. Like that's his thing. And every team would have a coach or a player who knew every umpire. Some had a wider zone, some hated calling strikes on the bottom rung. So in a start like that, Kevin Gausman would have to adjust his splitter type of. Now that's gone, and I think that's a good thing. But umpires have got to adjust too, just like players.
We can't leave without discussing Bo Bichette and his debut for the Mets. He got booed this past weekend. From what I saw, I think he went 1 for 11. But here's the thing. I saw him speak post game. He said he's surprised it took them that long to boo him. And it was the most personality I've ever seen from Bo Bichette. He was laughing and smiling. I'm very confused.
I was just gonna say, where was that quote back in the day? Come on, man. I was trying to bleed water out of a rock there, but it's tough, man. We've talked about the New York market with Bo. Will not be kind, and in New York, like I'll say it for the 10,000th time. Toronto's not a tough media market. If you hear that, laugh in the person's face and keep laughing in their face, because we do not have back pages of tabloids where we openly mock you. Okay. Like Bo, especially if you have a name like Bo, which can be easily rhymed and played with. If you're having a tough stretch, you're going to end up on the back page of the Post. You're going to end up a headline. You are going to end up on talk radio that is not just people agreeing about your metrics, it's going to be people crapping on you and talking about what a mistake it was, blah, blah, blah. Now, this on the same, in the same breath, if you are a star, there aren't many better places to play than New York. There's a high ceiling and a low floor. It's a great sports market, but it can be a tough one. And how Bo deals with that will be very interesting. I think that Bo is just a player who is so better appreciated over months. Like he's not going to walk in and be a superstar day one. You need to appreciate his offensive game over months. I still don't think he's a third baseman, guys. I've said that since the moment they signed him. Bo at third base has never made much sense to me, but we'll see how this works out. And that contract is awfully interesting already.
Well, it has an opt-out each year.
Yeah. Well, it's going to listen. Juan Soto got the same treatment. We discussed this off air too.
Yeah.
I think things will work out fine for him. Keegan, just looking ahead to the future a little bit, are you interested and excited about going out to Chicago to watch Sir Anthony Dominguez firsthand chase his World Series dreams with the White Sox?
Man,
I'm never letting that go.
that's why he signed there, to chase a World Series. I always look forward to Chicago, probably my favorite road city. Do I look forward to going to Guaranteed Rate Field? Way different answer. But a tear will stream down my face when I see Sir Anthony Dominguez taking the line. Glad he got paid, and man, sometimes you just say what you got to say.
Still has an all-timer first name. Thanks, Keegs.
You got it, guys.